Hello, how are you guys? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. This is Poise and Pleasure. I am Chantel and I own Poise Parties and Poise Pleasure. At Poise Parties, basically, we host parties for girls' night out, couples parties, bridal parties, divorce parties. And what we do within the parties, we teach dancing from pole dancing, twerking. We have fantasy parties. We do the whole to do, right? And then with Poise Pleasure, we sell toys. So we sell intimate toys for your self pleasure experience or for your experience as a couple. So either way, we have you covered. So I have started this thing where I allow you to ask me questions in my Instagram story bubble. And the questions that I receive, I'm really excited about answering. So I'm going to do these videos. It's not imperative just yet to get onto the lives, but eventually I want you guys to hop on the lives while I'm doing it so that I can interact with your feedback in real time. But as for now, I'll go ahead on and I'll answer the questions. But I do want you guys to still comment. I still want you to share. Let's grow this because this talking about our self pleasure is an important topic. Talking about intimacy for couples or alone or in your dating life, it's super important. I think sometimes for some of us, we were conditioned to think that we should downplay our desires, and that's not so. So, my job is to help you figure those desires out and communicate them the right way. So, to get started, I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about me, but I want you to comment. I want you to save the video, download the video, share the video, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. And then, if you have any feedback, when I do the follow up video, I would definitely respond to all of the questions. You don't have to agree. I still want those questions. I still want those comments so that we can go ahead on and go further. If there's something you want me to explain in more depth, say that too. But for now, you can find me at Poise, Poise Parties, Parties at Poise Parties on Instagram or at Poise Pleasure. So let's get started with the first question because I'm super excited. So I have my laptop here because I did not want to forget my notes. So the first question that I pulled was how to say no to your spouse without upsetting them. So some of you ladies may not like what I have to say about it, but basically, I'm going to answer all of these questions from experience, from the textbook way, and I may add a little comedy in there as well. But understand this: I try to get to the depth of things, the things deep down inside. So usually when someone is saying something, I can figure out that it's something else that they're not saying. And that is the place that is the part that we have to fix. So if it's a little deeper than what you're saying, then we do have to still acknowledge that in order to fix the whole woman, which is the whole point of my job. It's to balance out the whole woman. That's what poise means. Poise is balance. And I want to hit the whole woman from her career or self care all the way to her self pleasure and self love. Okay. So let's get started. How to say no to your spouse without upsetting them. So the first thing we have to do is we have to evaluate the no, right? Why are you saying no? Are you tired? Are you not feeling the relationship right now? You know, some relationships go through some points where you're just not feeling your spouse. You're not feeling their energy. They may be stressed at work and you have no idea. And so now you don't even know how to really approach them and vice versa. They may not even know how to approach you. But that's the thing when we have those solid internal thoughts and we don't share them or learn how to communicate them, it's hard to get on the same page. And that's why we go through periods where we're misunderstanding one another. And that's fine as long as you get past it, as long as you figure out how to work through it. So, with that being said, I didn't think about silencing my phone, but I'm going to do that right now. So, are you tired? Does intimacy feel different? If you're going through menopause, if you're hitting that age, like, y'all, I think I may be going through premenopause right now. We'll talk about that in another video, but I think I'm experiencing premenopause. So you have to evaluate, does sex just feel different right now? Um, is it premenopause? Is it your body? Is it your energy? Is it your age? Have you given birth too many times and now you're just all over the place, right? Childbirth changes you. And I won't say too many times, one child can change you, right? So it could just be several things of why sex can feel different. I recently had my fibroids removed in last April. Sex feels good now. But before, it wasn't as pleasing. So, well, I won't say it wasn't as pleasing, but you know what I mean. It feels way better now. Let me say that. And do you even enjoy sex? You have to figure that out. Do you enjoy sex? Do you like it? Is it something that, are you feeling like you're missing something? I know for me, it has to feel like an experience. It can't just be wham, bam, thank you, sir. It has to be an experience. It has to feel like my attention, I mean, my needs are paid attention to, they're met, they're priority, and I'm pleased. So that's something to keep in mind. Um, the next point is, do you have a heavy heart? Are you grieving? Have you just lost someone? Have you gone through a miscarriage? I know for me, I'm actually afraid to get pregnant. So sometimes I say no when I'm ovulating. You know, for women, that's usually when we want it the most, around our cycle time. So to say no around that time, it's really coming from a fear. And my fear is, I don't want to go through childbirth again because my last child tainted me. Okay. If you know, you know. If not, we'll discuss it in another video. Okay. So basically, evaluate your no. This is very important because the reality is they need to be acknowledged. It needs to be discussed. Your spouse needs to know why you are saying no and get your spouse on the same page with you and don't be afraid of that. Because keep in mind, when you're saying no, you are rejecting your spouse, and your spouse needs to understand why you are rejecting them. This can go both ways. This is not just for women. I am speaking from a woman's point of view in my own experience, but in speaking to you, this could be for um, the man and the woman, a woman and a woman, a man and a man. It doesn't matter. Explain to your spouse why you may be rejecting them. And if it's something that's more deep rooted, you definitely need to have that discussion because maybe you need to ask for some patience and some time to get past that. Okay. So the next thing I would say is you have to approach it at the right time. If it is something that is deep rooted, you have to approach it at the right time. And and when I say deep rooted, it could just be, if you guys may have dealt with infidelity, some couples break up, come back together, and think about it. When you've broken up, there's so many things that have happened in between that time. And you might be dealing with your partner not understanding what the hell you had going on when you had that separation. So to come back together, that makes it a little just a little touchy. So I would say you have to approach this at the right time where you can actually speak to your spouse and your spouse can actually hear it, receive it, and not argue about it, right? So do not bring up this topic when you are mad at your spouse. They did not close the refrigerator door. They forgot to put the clothes in the dryer. They left their shoes at the door and you tripped. They didn't put their laundry in a basket. The toilet tissue was turned the wrong way. They forgot to put a trash bag in a wastebasket. There's beard hair in the sink, which is my pet peeve. Do not talk about it when you are complaining about something already. Okay. We're going to leave that to be that time. But when we are trying to come across with our thoughts and our feelings to our spouse. We do not want to do it when we're arguing. Okay. Make sure both of you are in a calm energy. Like, you don't want your spouse to be aggravated from work and now you want to sit them down and talk about this. Let their energy get a little balance before you hit them with the fireball. Okay. Um, know your spouse. You know your spouse. You know if they're easily offended. If they're easily offended, you may have to dumb this whole thing down a little bit. Okay. So I'll tell you a scenario. I don't know if any of you remember My Wife and Kids. So My Wife and Kids, they had an episode where they were going through therapy or something. And the therapist suggested that they tell each other something that they don't really like about each other. And the response has to be, and only can be this: my heart, I accept what you are saying, and my heart is still open. I accept what you are saying, and my heart is still open. So I say that to say, you may have to dumb this down and play a little game. One game my husband and I played before, it's called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And that's where we tell each other something good, we tell each other something bad, and we tell each other something ugly. And it's a very tough conversation to have without responding, but it may just be the thing to work, right? Just giving an example here. Let's say you decide to do that and you tell your spouse, I think you are really, really good at planning our dates. That's the good. Bad thing is the nightcap can use a little upgrading. I'm not feeling pleased. I'm not really getting an orgasm all the time. Yes, I did. I went right in. And the ugly, well, let's just keep it at the ugly is I'm not getting an orgasm all the time, because that is the top of the list, right? So say that. And your spouse has to respond by saying, I accept what you were saying, my heart is still open. And then you discuss it, or you may decide, let's just leave it at this. Let's both walk away and think about it, and then come back and discuss it. But you may just have to give it a little bit more of a psychological twist so that you can get this conversation across smoothly and without any stress. Because the whole point is to fix it, right? Don't just tell your spouse, hey, I'm telling you no because you cut your beard off, which is one of the reasons why I probably tell my husband no if he cuts his beard off, right? You can't just say that, walk away, and then there's no solution to it. You have to say it. You are building a life with this person. So the idea should be to get over this hump so that you can start being more intimate with your spouse. Okay. And make it a mood. Create a mood when you do it. Dim the lights, light a candle, pour some wine if you guys can drink responsibly without getting aggressive. Okay. Small bites, dinner, put some music on, jazz music. I wouldn't suggest trap music in this moment, keep it a little light, something like that. And then again, we are trying to achieve a goal here. We're not trying to attack. We are just trying to make our spouse understand why we are saying no. Okay. Let me say this. You will not be able to just keep saying no and your spouse doesn't feel rejected or upset. You are going to have to start explaining this no and why it's happening. Okay. So keep in mind, it is discussion over debate. Okay. Discussion over debate. You're building a life with this person. You are not trying to debate about a very important thing in your relationship. Yes, intimacy is important. That's just what it is. It's important. It does not mean it has to be every day, but it's important, especially if that is if that's a love language, for your spouse, right? And as we do these videos, we're going to get all the way in it, right? Is your spouse sexually mature? I think that just deserved a moment of silence. Is your spouse sexually mature? Meaning that they only learned how to have sex from porn? And if so, this still needs to be addressed. It still needs to be discussed if, in fact, you're not pleased. You're not happy. Okay. All right. Moving on. You need to be specific. When you do have the conversation, if you decide not to dumb it down, and play the little game, you have to be specific. You cannot be vague. You cannot expect your partner to read your mind. Say what it is, mean what you're saying. I would not say approach it aggressively, but you have to make sure that you're having the conversation so that your spouse can receive it and you guys can work on it together. Okay. So it goes all the way back to the first point. Evaluate the no. If you were just saying no because, you know, you're just not feeling it, well, if it's not your spouse making you feel that way, then it may be a you thing. And that means you need to work on what's making you feel like that. Do you need some supplements? Do you need libido pills? Do you need to tell your doctor? In some cases, just being more physical can get you more in the mood. I really think a lot of times, especially for women, we are a bit overwhelmed. We hold so much on our back. We're taking care of so many people. We have the kids, we have family, our parents, especially if you're at my age now, you might be even taking care of your parents. There are so many things that play a factor in what goes on in our mind. And I would say the takeaway in this conversation, if you take nothing else away from it, start setting boundaries, right? The things that we worry about, we're putting that much on it. I'll tell you something that stresses me out. When it's Halloween time and I have to make treat bags for two different kids, I have a boy and I have a girl who I have to make treat bags for, right? Then I have to make them look different. And she has 19 kids in her class. He has 14 kids in his class. And I go and I'm like, well, I don't want to put the same stuff in their bags. And why? Why don't I want to put the same stuff in the treat bags? What does it matter? I'm making treat bags for her class and she got boys and girls in hers. And I'm making treat bags for his class that has boys and girls in his. So why can't they look the same? Well, because what's going to happen is, because I've already overthought it, when I make the treat bags, I'm going to end up putting them in the same looking bags, which that's the thing too. They can't go in the same. So I'll miscount. Now leave it to my husband. They'll go to school with it in a Walmart bag. You mean to tell me you didn't put it in his trucker bag and you didn't put hers in her unicorn bag and send to school? But again, why do I even care? The kids are going to be happy to get these treats. And I make good treat bags, okay? I mean, I make them good. I put juices, snacks, candy, a little trinket. I think they're pretty good, if you ask me. But the whole point is, why am I putting that stress on myself? Why? Valentine's Day is coming up, and I'm probably going to do the same thing with these treat bags. You know what? I'm going to make it a point. I'm not doing that. They're getting the same stuff in their bags and they're going off to school, and that's that. And if one person ends up with the 14 and the other one ends up with the 19, oh well, so be it. So be it. Anyway, moving on. Be specific. Stop letting things overwhelm you. Those kids are going to be fine. Your mom and dad will be fine. The wastebasket in the bathroom will be fine without a trash bag. And if somebody throws something in it, you tell that same person to take their trash out of it, go throw it away, and put a bag in the wastebasket. Okay? Go to Target, think about it at Target. By the time you get back in the car, you'll be over it. Okay? Just set some boundaries and stop putting all that nonsense on yourself. Okay? Moving on. So be specific about your details. And this, keep in mind, you guys, this is just the person you're doing life with. This is not someone who you now sometimes we let men walk around with an ego because we don't tell them the truth, right? But this is the person you have chosen to do life with. And if you have chosen right, because I that's a whole different conversation if you didn't choose your person. Okay. That's beyond me. But if you chose your person and there's real love there and it's genuine, I can't see why your spouse just does not want to see you happy. Okay. Next, um, try not to disregard their feelings when you tell them. They get feedback, allow them to express themselves to you as well. This is the moment to understand how exactly do you view sex, right? Again, we're not talking at each other. We're talking to get somewhere, right? This discussion is not for us to debate, it's for us to dissolve this issue. So find out where how your spouse views sex and how it feels to them when you say no. Um, you need to make sure you're not pushing them away too much. And don't let something like intimacy be what pushes your spouse away. So if you need some time to work certain things out, then I would say work those things out. If it is deep rooted, if it is a heavy heart, if it is grief, if it's overwhelming with your lifestyle, then maybe it's time to get a therapist and start working more on your self care, your self love, and your self pleasure. The minute you work on that for yourself and start setting some boundaries and taking care of yourself from the top to the bottom. I say that from the outside to the inside because here's the deal. If you become active, it's for your better good, right? It does not mean you have to be a fitness model. It does not mean you have to be a model. It just means you're working on you. You want to feel good in every area of your life. Take some vitamins. You should have energy. If you have low iron, get an iron supplement. If you are like me and you had fibroids, figure out what a solution can be for that. So you have to start taking care of yourself because if not, the stress of everyday life, not taking care of your body, not eating right, all of those things will add up and it will change your mood and your hormones, and things will become unbalanced. And it's very easy for us. Then you go through hair loss, your health is going down, you can't get pregnant, and that's another stress that let it be organic. Let it be organic. Um, so we have to start identifying our stress points. What's really stressing us out? Is it really our spouses or is it us? Sorry, baby girl, but you're gonna have to figure that out. Okay. Um, and once you receive their feedback, just make them feel validated, make them feel heard, and allow them to apologize if an apology is in order. So if there's an apology due to you, give them a chance to give it to you, right? Allow them to apologize, allow them to say sorry, and definitely try to make the next step working on this. It may be that you don't want to be intimate every day, or you can pick how many days a week. I have this thing where what I go to bed with is your invitation. And if I don't have that on or off, then that means tonight I just need some rest. Okay. And that's fine. Work something out like that. Hey, if I sleep naked, that means game on. If I don't, that means give me some sleep. Let's just cuddle. Let's watch a movie. Something like that. So those are different ways that you can tell your spouse no. But I would say if you say no often, you might want to figure out that no, evaluate that no, sit down with your spouse and explain to them what your no is for so that they're not feeling rejected on the other end, right? We just kind of think that our no is our no and it has a period at the end. But the truth is when you are building a life with someone, it's still hurtful to them that you are rejecting them. So let's just make it a point to discuss it. Let's figure it out. Let's work on it. If it needs some extra attention to the process, like therapy, meditation, scaling back, setting boundaries, then let's put those things in place. And allow them to give you feedback so that you both can understand how the both of you are viewing this whole situation and what's going on so that it doesn't become a cloud over your relationship because it can happen very fast. So, that is what I have for you guys today. And I can go ahead on and tell you guys the other questions that I received. Another question that I received was how to get your spouse to be more romantic in the bedroom. And another one was how to introduce toys into a new relationship. So I'm excited to answer those two questions. And I'll also be doing a short video on is squirting female ejaculation the same thing? So I really appreciate you guys for joining my channel. Please do not forget to subscribe, share the video, like the video, and please make a comment so that I can do a follow-up video with you guys. Questions, comments, concerns. Like I said, nothing will be turned away unless it's just outright disrespectful. But other than that, I am open to even the rebuttals. I want to know how you feel. And it could be that you feel like it's not that simple for your relationship. And then it may need um, some more talking about. And if it's like that, send me a message. You can send me a DM and I'll go ahead on and I'll send you other things or other options that you can use if your relationship is more of in a heavy spot right now. Okay. So thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate it. Bear with me as I build this new avenue up. Um, I would like for you guys to definitely continue to stay with me. This is going to get fun. My husband is going to join in on some of these videos so we can get a male point of view. And it won't be all about the spicy side of intimacy. It'll be about dating, the non-physical side of intimacy, and even like the way we speak to one another. That is still a form of intimacy. Finding your match in intimacy. You may be the kinky one and your spouse may be the soft one. You may need more aggression and your spouse may not. And we have to figure out how to find that balance. We are going to talk about self pleasure, self love, how to actually buy toys and quality toys, and why that's important. Because these things are going into your most intimate, sensitive areas, and you want it to have quality. You want it to keep you balanced, and keep you feeling good, right? So we're going to talk about it all, everything from maternal health, childbirth, how it changes your body, what I went through in one of my experiences in having my son. So we are going to talk about all those things because all of those things have an effect on our body, our mental, our relationships, our sex life, um, in our health altogether. So please stay tuned. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button. I mean, what are y'all waiting for? Hit the subscribe button. And please be looking out for Poise parties to be like in your city. You can now book us for parties in Atlanta, Houston, and Miami. Of course, New Orleans. But for now, these are the four cities where you can book a party. So What you waiting for? I know you need a girls' night out. I know you need like a girl talk party. So let's do it. Book us and shop on our site at www.poisepleasure.com. We have everything you could ever need, from things for yourself, some things you can have on the go, for vacation needs, an entire experience box, and some BDSM if you're feeling 50 shades. So please continue to follow us. We have some great topics to discuss. I'm in it for the long haul. Are you? Bye.